Hey folks, good morning. Sunday morning. I had someone pose an interesting question on my two different arrows thread on leather wall. And the standard for a long time when measuring feet per second with bows apparently has been 9 grains per pound. And I got kind of curious and the closest arrow configuration I have that's tuned at is a Beeman 500 spine. It's full length. It's got 100 grain screw-in points. Don't know if you can see that. I've got the camera magnified. But this is a 38-pound hex 7.5 covert hunter, 64 inches on a 21-inch phenolic riser, medium limbs. These arrows at 350 grains on this 38-pound bow make for 9.2 GPP, and that's with no feathers, bare shaft configuration. And that's the closest I could get to 9 grains per pound. So I decided I wanted to see, hey, you know, what's up? And I got 3 of them here. I'm going to give 3 bare shafts a go, and I'm going to explain something to you folks at the end of this video. That one was an error. Thankfully, I got 2 more that should give us some idea. I already know what they do. (197 feet per second). Duplicate, 197 feet per second. So, that wasn't as fast as I anticipated, because these bows are billed as, you know, they were capable of shooting 10 grains per pound, 200 feet per second. Well, here we are, just a hair over 9 grains per pound, 9.2 grains per pound, and I'm shooting 197. And by the way, I'm actually closing my stance a bit. I'm not a true 28-inch draw anymore. I guess the older I got, the smaller I got. And that occurred over the course of a couple of years, and it was interesting. I got to watch that happen to myself, but my draw shrunk down to like 27.5, 27.75, and now I have to use a very close stance and hook way back on my jaw before I hit 28 inches. I had my daughter monitor that for me. But here's the point. I'm sure when Borders tested that and did their thing, you know, their 10 GPP at 200 feet per second, you know, it was with a shooting machine at 28 inches, and I'm pretty certain that they probably didn't have string puffs on their bow, and they probably didn't have limb savers, so that might be costing me. But and the Velcro stops down here, buffers. So, you know, the point I'm getting to here, and I know I'm taking a long way around, is this is a big hook bow. The power difference in bows can be vast. You can have bows that'll shoot a light arrow very quickly, but you laden it down with some weight and up the GPP, and suddenly they start losing feet per second at a rapid rate. That doesn't seem to be the case with the big hook limbs. For me, I found out that the lighter I go in arrow weight, the more the returns are diminishing. But the heavier I go in arrow weight, the more momentum and KE and hitting power I get out of them, and the heavier arrows seem to be a bit more stable and fly well in a very predictable fashion, and they take a lot of the vibes out of the bow. Of course, the heavier the arrow goes, those arrows, just like a sponge, they saturate, they soak the energy right out of the limbs. And moving on up here, this is a 405 grain arrow. Now this is 55 grains heavier. I believe the math on it is just under 10.7 GPP, but here we got duplicates of 197 with a 350 grain arrow, bear shafts at that. And let's see what a 405 10.7 GPP does. $188, and I really plucked the heck out of that. I guess I'm trying to draw back about a ½ inch further than what my natural draw is. 190. There we go. So you see, we had a 350 grain arrow doing 197 feet per second, but here we bumped up almost 2 GPP and lost what, 7 feet per second? That's like insane. Let's try it again. That's definitely wrong. Don't have a whole lot of light to work with out here this morning yet, so we'll try it again. 184, and I'll let that one go a little early. So now let's move it up even heavier. Let's go to some serious plow to fields hunting arrow weight for a big hook bow, which to me is 17 GPP. 17 GPP. This is a 645 grain arrow with a 300 grain point with 3 5-grain shims, brass shims, and that point there that's 315 grains worth of point weight on a 29-inch long Carbon Express 350 spine Mayhem Hunter. So let's see what 17. Now we're jumping up from just under 10.7 GPP to 17. We're going GPP. We're going from a 405 grain arrow to a 645 grain arrow. Air. Let's try it again. Morning light. $159 feet per second. 17 GPP off a 38-pound bow, 159 feet per second. Let's try it again, see if I get lucky and get a reading. Duplicate, 159 feet per second. 17 GPP. Now, for those of you who have a lot of experience with chronographing bows over the years, you know, we got, FDP had mentioned, you know, 7.5, when I said 7.5 inches of string to groove engagement wrap, I wasn't kidding, you know. As a matter of fact, at one time I was laughing to myself thinking, well, Borders, and maybe that's how Borders does their bows, even though they're in a metric nation. Maybe you know, the Hex 7s wrap 7 inches of string into the groove. The Hex 7s and .5s wrap 7.5 inches. I can't help but wonder if the Hex 8s wrap 8 inches of string into the grooves. But there it is, a 38-pound bow, 7.5, with a beautiful string on it. This is 12 strands of, I can't even get it to focus in here, maybe up here. Alan Schaefer made this. I ordered 2 strings in these colors. And there you have it, man. So let's review. We had 350 grain 9.2 GPP arrows that were only doing 197 feet per second. Not very impressive, but hey. And this is the story of big hooks. They are not fast bows. I've said this for years. They're not fast bows. They are powerful bows. And they hold true to their namesake. They are a covert. Put quotation marks around the word hunter, because they throw heavy arrows like no other bow. And so we had 197 with 350 grain 9.2 GPP. We had what was it, 190 feet per second duplicates with the I don't know if I shot duplicates with them, but they were the 405. They were almost 10.7 GPP at 190 feet per second. And here we have 645 grain arrows that are a whopping 17 GPP doing 159 feet per second. And folks, I don't think I need to tell you, if you want to go to one of the online kinetic energy and momentum calculators, the heavy arrows are absolutely trouncing the lighter arrows. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this informative. Later.